Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And you can surely say that today is one of the darkest days in a very long time for the crypto space. You guys have most likely already seen it, but the entire crypto market is bleeding today. We are under $1 trillion and we're actually down 12.3% over the last 24 hours. Looking at it, you can see Bitcoin is below 24,000, minus 13.2% today. Ethereum is at $1,230, minus 15% today. Fun fact, XRP is actually outperforming the top 10, being down about 9.14%, and that's kind of interesting to think about and to kind of say. USDT is depegging just a little bit, slightly below $1. Some people were worried about it, I'm personally not. However, there are two very big concerns, and they're these two. First of all, Binance has temporarily paused Bitcoin withdrawals. That kind of goes paired with another exchange stopping these withdrawals. I'm not sure if this what a joke is me joking about it or whether or not they just laugh at the fact that this was stopped. But it will go combined with something else. This, however, is the second big thing, and that is almost $1 billion worth of liquidations in the last 24 hours. And it's kind of interesting to me to see how many of these people were actually shorts that got liquidated, as the crypto market is rather volatile. Again, guys, it is not only negative action. Even though we broke through key monthly support for Bitcoin, and on the short term, it looks really, really bad. You can see here how long this shadow is and how crazy of a profit you can sometimes take in the midst here. As well, Bitcoin, for example, here went as low as 23,338. However, it also went as high in the same 4-hour span as 24.4 thousand. I'm not exactly sure what came first and what came afterwards, but it's just to showcase to you guys how volatile it right now is. Let's go back to my Twitter, however, to discuss a couple of things. First of all, a lot of people will quit crypto today, and that's something you should realize. Every single time that the crypto market goes into a frenzy like this, a lot of people are going to quit and they'll not come back for the next couple of years because they most likely sold at a loss and they're afraid, they're scared, they're done with it. I, however, and I think a lot of you guys will actually start to buy a ton of crypto the moment that we start to really fall even more, so to speak. For XRP, for example, my personal price target is 25 cents. I know it's a very round number, and I'll most likely actually layer it to buy at little smarter points, but it's just to give you guys some idea as well. If the cryptos fall by another, let's say 30 or so percent, XRP specifically, I'm just going to start buying like a madman because, well, that's what I'm used to, and I'm not really afraid this crypto market won't recover again. Then again, you have to realize, and that's also what is showcased on the chart just now, we are breaking through some very key levels from longer periods of time. And so it is mostly negative right now in the crypto space. Again, these stocks right now are also doing very negative, and that kind of leads me to think back of all those articles which we read quite recently, talking about how the bigger recession is not over, right? It's just basically starting. A lot of these bigger companies are talking about that. Interestingly, we covered yesterday that MicroStrategy was at a $300 and whatever million loss. Right now, they're at an $800 million loss. That's also not so good. But talking about that whole Binance ordeal, I'll tell you guys exactly what's going on there. There's actually two things. One is one thing I've warned you guys about yesterday. Hopefully, I think I did, right? There was also another video that I had to make. Let me see if I can find it here. No, I don't have it open. Here we go. There was one video I had to make yesterday talking about these subjects. Yuga Labs co-founder believe social media attack is coming. Stanley Druckenmiller prefers Bitcoin over gold. New York Department of Financial Services releases some guidance on stablecoins. You guys can't see it properly. I'm just going to go through it quickly. EU nears agreement on crypto regulation. U.S. Treasury Department on track to regulate unhosted wallets. CPI inflation data. Pushing markets off the ledge. Here's what investors need to know. Crypto pairs losses from decline fueled by U.S. inflation spike, and Do Kwon is missing some $2.7 billion profit allegations. But no, this stuff about Ethereum I covered. So I talked to you guys yesterday about what our scares were, right? About something in DeFi depegging, where a lot of people would lose money because of liquidations. Now, again, we've seen the actual trading liquidations, basically. But apparently, Celsius let out this statement. Celsius, which is a very big, borrow and lending platform. You can do a lot of things on there, but you understand. Is pausing all withdrawals, swap, and transfers between accounts. Acting in the interest of our community is our top priority. Our operations continue, and we will continue to share information with the community. More here. There's two things which happened, all right? One is they kind of went against the grain when they did this. Second, people are comparing this to Luna 2.0, and Kavizilla is already hopping on in, which is definitely not that good. Third is Nexo, I believe, is actually considering a bailout plan sort of for Celsius. Because you guys can understand this, right? The moment that these platforms start to do anything with pausing, that's when things in the crypto space really get dire, really, really sad, really quickly, really, really, really heavily. Why? Well, you got to consider it like this, right? If people can't withdraw, if people can't deposit, if people can't swap, if people can't do this, that, at some point or another, they might not be able to repay their loan, or there might be something that has to do with the loan which can or will go wrong. Here's Flying Spoon saying, I have USDC in my account that I want to use to repay my loan that has a margin call right now, but I can't even repay the damn loan because of the transfer freeze. That's ridiculous. If the market tanks, Celsius will liquidate my collateral even though I can pay off my loan. You can also see the skepticism regarding rug, or basically people being skeptical, scared, and everything along those sorts of those lines. And that is very bearish for the crypto market. Here's somebody. They're comparing the 2019 Celsius to now. If you don't have a free and unlimited access to your own funds, are they really yours? Unbank yourself with Celsius and join the next generation of financial services. No fees, no penalties, no lockups, just profit. And then later on they changed. Celsius is pausing all withdrawals, swap, and transfers as we saw earlier. Then again, there's also a milkman here who said, Celsius is being fudded. Let's entertain on the idea that Celsius is a balance sheet involved, but could it be repairable? Because, again, by the way, what they're saying is their ultimate objective is stabilizing liquidity and restoring withdrawals, swap and transfer between accounts as quickly as possible. There's a lot of work ahead, but I'm not exactly sure why they're stopping this. It's not completely clear to me. They're just saying it's for the safety of the people, to protect it, to stabilize liquidity and operations while take steps to protect and preserve. But how exactly or what? They said this means the company is likely somehow insolvent. We have seen this behavior before, e.g. with Mt. Gox's insolvency in 2014. And how that would work is, let's say, all of a sudden, people want to really massively withdraw. It's basically just showcasing them the quote-unquote Ponzi scheme in that sense. Wow, there's also 60,000 tweets regarding Celsius. People are going rampant. Wow, we can go deep into exactly what is wrong with Celsius, but I don't want to do that today. All right, here's what he said, or kind of explaining how Celsius is insolvent, which again is a lot of FUD, but it might be it might actually be what's going on. And again, that does not mean they don't have money. It could mean they don't have enough liquid cash, basically, to provide it to everybody. And that, for example, is also, this is a clear example, by the way. Let's say we take any bank out there in the world. There's a good idea or a good chance that if they were not backed by anybody else, let's say they're completely standalone, that if everybody came to the bank to withdraw their money, they would not be able to give it to you. Why? Well, because they don't keep that much inside. They invested into things which sometimes take time to give a return. Not everything is, liquid. Then again, that's just kind of put it into perspective here that they might not have that. People are going a little bit further than that. Here's also, let's assume Celsius is not being dishonest to creditors and treating them unfairly, for example, paying back tether loans at the expense of retail investors' deposits, which again is a law thingy here. Also, let's assume Celsius is not trying to YOLO trade themselves out of this. If you are a director and you know some fraud has occurred, it rarely matters to you how much further fraud you do, because you know you are doing down any case. Not that this would ever happen in a company culture where the first CFO is on his way to fraud trial. Let's play around with the idea that Celsius' balance sheet gap is $1 billion out of $10 billion or something. Not sure how much there is left after all withdrawals. If you panic, pays out to panic as the first. Yeah, if you panic, it pays out to panic as the first. Celsius has 1.2 million users. They have some now tarnished brand value, no IPR, so to speak. Filling this gap would mean paying $1,000 per user. For a SaaS business, the price is too high. For a bank, still too high. And again, then he talks about the offer from Nexo to help out Celsius. This is kind of funny because they're basically saying like, hey, Celsius, you're incompetent, but here we are. After what appears to be an insolvency issue for Celsius and mindful of the repercussions for retail investors and crypto community, Nexo has extended a formal offer to acquire qualifying assets of Celsius after their withdrawal freeze. Operating a sustainable business for 4+ years based on solid fundamentals and prudent risk management, Nexo is in strong liquidity and equity position as evidenced by the only real-time reserves attestation of a blockchain finance company. We firmly believe that acquiring all or a part of Celsius qualifying outstanding collateralized loan receivables will go a long way in providing immediate liquidity to Celsius clients. We are still waiting to hear from their management and will update you. This is interesting. Now, I personally don't use Celsius, so I don't really care one single bit about Celsius as a platform surviving. I do, however, and this is very important, care about the crypto space. And if Celsius goes or if something really bad happens, first of all, more trust is lost because we had Luna end this. The regulations might be more strict in a negative way. And obviously, a lot of people lose money if something goes wrong. So I'm really being cautious for that. However, I do think that this has a lot to do with the crypto prices falling even more because this is a massive amount of fear. And you got to understand this is billions of dollars that are inside of that platform. But also the FUD counts tenfold. And once more, the whole Binance ordeal is making things double or triple as bad. If you don't understand, Binance said there's one at least, or maybe a couple, stuck transactions because of the low fee on Bitcoin. And right now the network is a lot more busy, so the fee is a lot higher. Since that transaction is stuck, they had to halt everything because they basically use, let's say, one or a couple of Bitcoin wallets with a lot of transactions that basically plump up a lot of transfers at once. If a transaction gets stuck, well, it's the blockchain, right? It's one transaction after the other. So you have to wait until the transaction pulls through or use a different wallet for said purpose. However, if there's, I'm not sure how many Binance would get, but let's say there's 10,000 withdrawal requests in a very short amount of time. Well, if one of them gets stuck and there's 9,000 piling up, you can't just all of a sudden use another wallet. It's such a difficult measure, I would say, that they just have to kind of wait and not let people pile up more. Just wait it out for a little bit. And also, they specifically try to say, hey, you can withdraw Bitcoin if you want to, but just not on the Bitcoin's main chain. You can take it out anywhere if you want to. If you really want the Bitcoin, take it out on the Binance Smart Chain or on Ethereum or whatnot. It'll work. So they have the money for you. Just the Bitcoin is not, the chain is not working for them right now. Or at least it's stuck. Having said that, kind of what we expected yesterday is continuing on. I already said, I think the fear and greed index should actually show an even lower number. And I still, as I said earlier, expect more downside for the entire crypto market. Sometimes you can take a couple of juicy trades on the short term, but even right now, our main structure is showcasing downside with a confirming candle popping up, even though it's only Monday, so we cannot justify this just quite yet. I'm extremely bearish on the crypto space on the short term. Medium term, I'm still very bullish. Then again, this is also pretty critical. On the short term, talking like a couple of hours, couple of days, there might actually be one very big relief. As we've seen a lot of these weeks, we can get a crazy wick towards the downside and actually rebound rather quickly. That's something I'm watching for, which is why it's not too crazy to open up a couple of long positions here and there, because if you're able to call this bottom, that's going to be such a beautiful trade that it's actually worth it to try, in my own opinion. But let's just conclude that overall, the downside is what we should be gearing towards. And a little side note, guys, there's an $8 million competition on Bybit right now, coming up in a couple of days. If you've not signed up just quite yet, join my team. A link is down below. If we win, you guys can understand, all right? It'll be split over the entire freaking team, our prize money. We can win up to $6 million, I believe, and that would be huge, right? We're only 30 people. So make sure if you have a Bybit account that you join the Dusty BC Legends team. If you don't have a Bybit account just quite yet, use the link down below and understand that you can get more than $4,000 worth of bonuses, which you can trade with. And also, I'm going to be doing a massive giveaway only for my team. Specifically, if we win, I think I'll be given another $100,000 to split over the people who participated with me. But I think I'll also do a cool Bybit only giveaway rather soon, which might only be $10,000 or so. But again, $100,000 split over our team if we do end up winning, which can be really nice, because if there's only 30 people, that's a good amount of money. Again, guys, I'm also not sure if teams can be full. Maybe there's a max of 100 people. I don't know. In that case, it's first come, first serve. But make sure you are there. All you need is to have $500 in your account. You don't have to pay anything to join. But I highly suggest everybody to come on in and join the team. Oh yeah, and again, to conclude what we said earlier, as long as the stock market shows negative, specifically with these types of gaps, Bitcoin is going to react negatively to it. Then again, as always, at one point or another, it's going to turn back around, and that day, Bitcoin will most likely spike like crazy. So be on the watch for that. Mostly just be on the watch for the stock market going really positively again. And the moment that happens, well, you might want to open up a crazy long position on cryptos as well. All right, that's it for right now. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.